from here, booktubes, and today is Friends to Lovers romance recommendations. I am not a Friends to Lovers stan. I am not really a fan of it, generally speaking. In fact, it is a trope that you kind of have to overcome the fact that it's Friends to Lovers for me to be interested in reading it. But these are some that I have read and loved. I have done this recommendation before. I will put it in the cards, and that does have a couple of my all-time favorite Friends to Lovers recommendations in it, so check that out as well if you are a fan. First one is The Lost Touch Duet by Aveda. This starts with Skin. This is a short, like 25 pages or so, novella about a banshee who uses her power to know what happened around or to objects by touching them. She uses that for investigation purposes, and she has a longtime partner who is a gargoyle, and the banshee cannot touch other people without being forever connected to them, getting all their emotions clogging her brain all the time. So when something goes wrong, they accidentally touch Skin to Skin after being investigation partners for years, and now they had this connection, and she's able to feel a little bit of desire from him, and they decide to bang it out. So that's a really short, steamy novella, and then you get the full length that happens after the novella and continues their story all the way to the AGA. And in this full length, you have a serial killer of girls who has been caught, but they don't have proof, so they kind of force them into investigating it. Along the way, the banshee is connected to a night terror that was taken out of the serial killer and is sentient. And so it's a book about recovering from trauma and healing and opening up to the people that you're close to and trusting them with your past, and also trusting them with your affection and your feelings, as well as trying to find the remains of the girls that this killer has been getting away with. So it's great. It's a monster. It's very steamy. There's religious trauma stuff. It's polyamorous. It's queer. It's praise king. There's all sorts of goodness to it. I do highly recommend. Then I have Fire in His Fingertips. This is a steamy, very explicit manga that is Friends to Lovers. They've been friends their whole lives, and he is a firefighter. She gets caught in a fire. He rescues her. She doesn't have a place to stay, and so she stays with him, and things quickly escalate. There are some consent issues, which is a common thing in manga because they're not really supposed to want to have sex. So you could definitely take it as some consent issues, but he's been in love with her forever. She didn't think that he was at all. She thought that he was just a player, and their progression of dating, very steamy. Then I have Not Another Family Wedding, which is Chin Williams #1 by Jackie Lau. This is a professor, and she's like 36, I believe, and her much younger, like 10-year younger sister is getting married, and their family weddings always have all sorts of disasters happening. And she doesn't really want to go by herself. She's 36. She doesn't want to hear about having kids. She doesn't want to hear about getting married. She does not ever want to have kids. She has had an abortion in the past, and that is talked about quite a bit in the book. She doesn't want to have kids, so she asks her longtime best friend from college to go with her, and they are not fake dating. She makes it very clear to her family that she's not dating. They both had a crush on each other back in college without really realizing that it was reciprocated. He went on and got married, was married for a long time, got divorced. She's been broken up for a while. They're both available. They hook up at the wedding and have to kind of figure out what's going on because they didn't think they had these feelings anymore, but maybe they do. It's funny, it's lighthearted, it's really good. I will give you content warnings, not really on page so much, but some of the family is racist and homophobic. The main character is half Chinese, and the white half of her family is very racist, and her brother is gay, and the white half of her family is very homophobic to him. So be aware of that. It's not really on page, but it is definitely mentioned quite a bit. Then I have Maybe This Time, which is Vegas Nights #2 by Christina Jones. This is a trilogy of novellas about triplets that I am obsessed with. This is some of her darker, steamier work, and it's so good. The first one is a marriage in crisis that I talk about all the time. The third one is a very kinky motorcycle club president that I talk about frequently as well. And then this middle one is longtime friends to lovers. And not only is she his friend, but she's also really close to his sisters, and that's a big hang up, even though his sisters give him a little bit of flack about it, but they don't really care. If you like Christina C. Jones's writing, I really do recommend this trilogy. I would argue that it's maybe my favorite of her works. Like, I just love it. I just love it. It's short and so like to the point and focused on the couple and steamy. Really good in that way. You also get to see the antics of the other couples in this book. I actually need to reread. To be perfectly honest, I need to reread. Then I have The Alpha's Affair, which is Hamilton Brothers #2 by Dria Andersen. This is bear shifters and a witch. So the first one I believe is actually even more friends to lovers, but I haven't read that one. This one was also friends to lovers. She starts working for their family business and he's like very attracted to her. Obviously she ends up being his mate, but he's just like very attracted to her, and his sisters are like no, and there's a little bit of, it's very low angst, but there's a little bit of angst and conflict because he's the alpha of the bear clan and they have a deep mistrust of witches because some witches can actually like command their animals and can kind of bind them to be their servants and do whatever they demand. That's not the type of magic that she has or anything like that, so that works out well for them. I loved her grandmothers and all of the witchiness in it and how she really stood up for herself, and he was a very easygoing, sweet alpha, but if he meant it, he meant it, and you better not forget that he could make you listen. He was the alpha. Just because he was easygoing didn't make him any less alpha, and I really liked that. It's just very happy, easy, insta-love, low angst, focus on the couple, no third act breakup. Like, it's just them becoming a couple and staying a couple, and I love that, with some really fun paranormal magical elements thrown in. So that's it. Those are all my friends to lovers recommendations today. These are all ones that I've read and loved over the last year or so, and actually they're all by BIPOC and or queer authors, so there you go. Some diverse friends to lovers, as one does. But yeah, let me know if you've read any of these or want to read any of these. I would say give me any recommendations you might have, but I would argue only give me recommendations for people who don't actually like friends to lovers. Let me know what you think of these. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.